Good evening and welcome everybody joining us tonight for this very interesting matchup. It's going to be Poland versus Switzerland in the 2024 eSailing Nations Cup. This is Oscar, your host, and with me tonight is Omer the Guler. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good, Oscar. It's a great day for e-sailing lovers. This morning we started the Vendée Globe or around the world race on virtual regatta offshore, and it's quite exciting. And the for on the evening we're just watching and commentating together on the Nations Cup. So yeah,
Yeah,
I can
big
say
day
that
for
it's a good day
eSailing.
for
So
e-sailing.
exactly, Vendée Globe is the race of the moment on offshore, and well, we're here on inshore for the eSailing Nations Cup. And well, Poland versus Switzerland, we're going to start with the first race. It's going to be a 2v2 mixed star race. Um, well, what can we say about that? The mixed star race, well, the star is going to be a slow boat. It has a nasty big wind shadows, so a lot of the tactic is going to be on the downwind. We are still on the N-shaped course, so that means that we're finishing on an upwind, meaning that you want to finish the downwind first so that you can start the upwind first and still have control over your opponents. And
Yeah.
maybe having a look at the roster over here, we have Scheidlöfen and Attila and Kila on the Polish side. Meanwhile, we have Legern and Yuzu on the Swiss side. Quite a roster from both teams, don't you think?
Yeah, exactly, indeed. So it's gonna be fun to watch. They all know the game and the match racing really well. So let's see how they will start this race. And as we have only one downwind leg, it's not gonna be easy to catch on if they do not manage to catch them on the downwind on the first one.
Yep. And well, Chris 1707 was faster than me. I was gonna mention what your predictions are in the chat. Do drop them down below. Uh, see if anyone can predict the final results accurately. And Cub 72, thank you for the follow. Chris 1707 saying a 5-2 for Poland.
5-2.
As the
We'll
race
see.
has started. Quite a late start from both Attila and Kila and Yuzu. Juicy, so thank you for the follow as well. So a late start from each for like one player on each team. Good start from Scheidlöfen and Legern. So we're already seeing some sort of separation. It's going to be two duels likely. Scheidlöfen and Legern versus and Attila and Kila versus Yuzu. Maybe it's time for me also, I didn't really mention it in the past streams, how the eSailing Nations Cup works. It's a nation versus nation team race competition, each nation being represented by their federation or their MNA. So the Polish Federation chose their team and the Swiss Federation chose their team for this event. And how to get involved is actually just to join the well, to get in contact with your federation, with your sailing federation, see how if you can make it to the team and how they select the team. Each team will have different criterias to choose their players, and well, each team is going to have a captain and a vice captain to make that bridge between the e-sailors and the federation itself, keeping them updated and while doing all the e-sailing work for the federations. And we're in the round robin stage of this competition, meaning that we have 7 teams in total. These teams being Italy, France, Japan, Sweden, Germany, Poland, and Switzerland. And well, in the round robin, each team are gonna play against each other, and each win or loss is gonna bring a certain amount of points. So if you win, you get 3 points. If you lose, you get 1 point. Um, and if you win enough, you're gonna get a bonus point, or if you lose but close to your opponent, you're gonna get a bonus point as well. So you can either get 4 or 2 points as well, depending on if you're winning or losing. Then all the points are tallied up, and that's going to be the ceiling for the knockout stage in the quarterfinals, semifinals, bronze final, and grand final. So hopefully that's clear for everyone. It is quite a lot maybe to to understand without a graph showing you. But the players are going to head on the first downwind. I'm going to give the slight advantage to Switzerland for now. What do you think, Omer?
Yeah, because they'll have the control. As you know, upwind doesn't mean really anything when you have the starboard, because it is really hard to have a distance where you will not stay under the wind shadow of the other boats. So they will catch up anyways, and we shall be ready for a battle.
Yep. Well, we see already Attila and Kila being slowed down by Legern putting her in her wind shadow, and she's soon gonna be in the wind shadow of Yuzu as well. So she's gonna be slowed down by a lot. That's gonna bring me to the scoring of a race. Like in fleet racing, each position is the number of points you will get for your team. So if you're one, you get 1 point, second 2 points, third 3 points, and so on. And then the points for the country is just going to be the addition of the points from each player for that country. So as it stands at the moment, with Poland in 1 and 2, they get 3 points in total, 1 plus 2, and the Swiss are going to get 7 points in total, 3 plus 4. And so Poland is going to win because they have the least amount of points. Beardluck 22, can you still join as a country? Well, it has to come from the federation. So World Sailing contacts different sailing federations throughout the year, trying to invite them to get on board eSailing. So if your federation is part of the Nations Cup as in contact of World Sailing, well, with World Sailing, um, then yes, you can join the team of your country. If your federation is not part of the eSailing Nations Cup, then I'm afraid this competition is not going to be joinable by this country as of now. And we see Attila and Kila putting a nice penalty here on Yuzu. Poland still having the advantage in terms of points.
She did a very good job on faking that jibe and giving the penalty in the last minute to Yuzu.
Yeah, and we see the battle at the top of your screen between the two male players of the team, Shadowfin and Lagern. Shadowfin trying to drag Lagern maybe away from the mark. Lagern deciding to jab and go straight to the mark. He's still above um, Shadowfin, so he is going to slow down. Maybe he'll be able to take
Yeah,
the advantage here, and he's getting closer to Attila Kila. It's going to be a tight mark rounding for all players here. Yuzu managing to escape Attila Kila, and Attila Kila taking the penalty from Leger, and himself taking the penalty from Shidlo Finn. So they're on an equal foot as they round the mark, and it is hard to say who has the lead at the moment, but it's going to be the two Polish taking the
yeah.
advantage as they
I,
get out of this mark.
I gotta say it was a solid defending move from Sidelo Finn. He was like, I'm inside, I have the control, I'm not panicking, and he just handed out the penalties. And now we have two Polish boats leading the race.
Yep, and well, I missed a couple of follows. Brian Russo 35, thank you for the follow, and Loxy 2, thank you for the follow as well. So well, the Polish still in control in this last upwind, so I think it's going to end up in a win from Poland. But maybe the Swiss can pull out a magic move that is going to give them the edge. If they manage to put one of the Polish players in last place, they are likely going to win this round.
Yeah. Lagern
But
isn't too far from Sidelo Finn actually, but Sidelo Finn will have the starboard advantage when he'll tack on the ley line. And if it's risky, I'm sure Antila Akila will come back to help her teammate.
yep,
So
and we see Yuzu taking second place. Lagern deciding to go to the extreme ley line. The ley line is the dotted line that you see on your screen. Well, the one Lagern just this pass and is slightly moving, and that's the most direct path to the mark with the wind at the mark. But as it stands, I think the Polish are going to have a slight advantage. I think Yuzu is too far away to be able to come back and put a penalty and push one of the Polish players to the last place. I think they're just too close to the finish line. And round one goes to Poland. We're going to have 7 races in total. We'll go over each of them in a few minutes. But 1 and 2 for Poland, and 3 and 4 for Switzerland. and we'll show you the score. There we go. 1 for Poland, 0 for Switzerland after this first race. And well, next race is going to be a 3v3 in the Ilka. And that was beautifully played by the Polish players in this first race. 3v3 Ilka. So Ilka is similar to the Star in the sense that it is rather a slow boat on the upwind, but compared to the Star, it's actually much more agile. A lot faster, will fees a lot faster and nervous on the downwind as well. But with a smaller wind shadow, so you got to keep close to your opponents if you want to slow them down enough. And well, we're still staying on the N-shaped course. And well, 3v3, we'll go over the different scenarios that a team can go with to win the race, and we'll also go over the roster for each team. So asking you again, so far 1-0 for Poland. What are your thoughts? Those of you watching us, who do you think will win this encounter between Poland and Switzerland?
We got one pigeon commenting. Well done, Sidelow.
Yeah. That move he did at the mark, penalizing Legern, as Legern was penalizing Attila Kila, was a great
actually,
win.
I think that was the turning point of the match. Yeah, of that race, because after that it's reaching, and you don't really have a great chance to take over. You reach and then the upwind. So it was only smooth sailing for Polish players.
Yep. Well, it is 2012 at my time, so 1912 UTC. All 6 players are in, so race number 2 is going to be a go. And start procedure given. So I see Koig 1994 saying that Poland is going to take the win. Looks to Swiss going to win the 4v4, 5v5, and 9v9. And Foiled one saying that it's going to be a 4-3 in favor of Switzerland. Let's talk about the players that we see. It's going to be Sisawe, Moonflower, and Flying Palomino on the Swiss side. Jakub, Podgorny, Vari, and Formansky D on the Polish side. Well, we've seen these players several times in the Nations Cup already. They're go-to players for each team. Sisawe, also known as Kulu 8, and also part of the offshore team. And well, Vari is the Polish captain currently racing. 15 seconds to go. Your money is on Bobber. Who's Bobber?
We got a penalty, I think.
A penalty on each side, one for Vari and one for Flying Palomino. Vari is going to be penalized, doubled for the penalty start according to the engine. Penalty start, let me explain what that is, because this is not in the normal racing rules of sailing. This is an eSailing specialty. If you take the penalty before the start between T-minus 14 seconds and T-minus 3 seconds, and while you're in penalty, you're taking a second penalty, and then cross the line on port side, this is considered a penalty start. And why do we do that? This is to avoid players purposely taking a penalty to avoid other penalties and having an advantage while doing a wrong action. Sweet sailor, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, today I saw his comments. He's doing the Vendée Globe as well, Sweet Sailor, and he wasn't too happy with the light wind.
Yeah, we did have very light winds at the start of this Vendée Globe at the Sable d'Olonne. So the whole fleet is kind of bunched up, and we did see several strategies or routes taken by the players on the Vendée Globe. That's on Puerto Regatta offshore. Some deciding to go north, some deciding to go south, and some deciding to go straight towards the west. Meanwhile, on inshore, eSailing Nations Cup, Poland versus Switzerland. Jakub Podgorny and Furmanski D are the two leaders according to the ranking on the left. But Moonflower is very close behind. Winning positions in the 3v3, it's going to be either 1 and 2 or 1 and 3. And if you don't have first place, then if you have, like, for example, 2 and 3, just don't have 6th place. Basically, you want to have 10 points or less. But looks like Furmanski is just losing away.
The only chance for Swiss players to catch up is Moonflower now. And if Jakub Podgorny manages to get away and not stay under her wind shadow, I think it will be another victory for Poland. Let's see.
Well, looks like he is out of the wind shadow. Maybe a favorable shift can help Moonflower out. He is behind, so that means that he will catch the wind before them, meaning that he could maybe catch up. But
I don't like giving bad news, but it seems like another victory for Team Polish. And I was talking about bad news for Switzerland.
Yep. Well, we know about the commentator curse, so maybe there is a jinx coming in.
Let's see.
At the back of the fleet, we do see all the players quite separate from each other. Sisawe is kind of far from Moonflower. Flying Palomino is kind of far from Sisawe, and Very is too far to put Flying Palomino in his wind shadow as well. Meanwhile, the two Polish in front are not slowing down. They're just rushing towards this mark. If they can take that upwind first, will confirm their 1 and 2 position. Well, even if they fall into 1 and 3 position, then it's a wrap and it's a win for the second round for Poland, putting it 2-0 for Poland. But we'll see if that actually happens. As rounding the mark, Moonflower is still chasing. Starting this reaching leg before the upwind. Maybe a last-minute favorable shift or a touching mark can still save the Swiss. We've seen it several times of players touching the marks or friendly fire.
Okay. It's interesting. Furmanski was just slowing down, if I've seen it correctly, but not sure why.
Maybe they just wanted to make sure that they were controlling Moonflower since they were kind of close. They didn't want to take any risks and were waiting for him to catch up and stay above him during the upwind, but he's not tacking over him. He's just following his teammate Furmanski, all on starboard side. That's likely due to the shift and trying to catch that wind.
Actually, right after the start, both teams were quite close, but then again there was a turning point where Moonflower tacked suddenly and she lost a lot of speed, and then she couldn't catch up after that point.
I think it's a he for Moonflower. I'm not mistaken.
I'm sorry, my mistake. Apologies.
All good, all good. Well, the Polish are gonna go get this this wind pressure coming in. Moonflower still in third, Sisawa still in fourth, so the ranking didn't really change that much during the race as soon as we started that reaching, or even after this first half of the first upwind. It was 1 and 2 for Poland and 3, 4, 5 for Switzerland, and then 6 for Poland. No real shifts or attacks or penalties, and well, that's partly due to the fact that every boat was too far from each other to have a meaningful impact. And Furmanski and Jakub are going to cross the finish line first, giving the second wind to Poland. Yeah, and I don't see any changes in the ranking as all the boats are going to cross the finish line. It's going to be 1-2 Poland, 3-4-5 Switzerland, 6 Poland again. No changes in there. 2-0 for Poland, and we're going to head over to the next race very soon. There is confirmation of the ranking. Next up, 4v4 J70, still in the end shape. What can we say about the J70, Omer?
So now we'll have this spinnaker, which changes a lot of things. You might have to launch it during the offset according to the wind's angle. So it's one of the important strategies to catch up on your competitors. And other than that, it's quite agile during downwind. There will be a lot of battles. So I think this will be a race with a lot of battles and penalties.
Yep, there is this tricky, there is this decision to make with this B on that reaching leg.
Yeah.
And race is supposed to start in about 40 seconds. All players should be joining, and we'll have a look at the roster from each team. What's the prediction for this round? Who takes it? Is Switzerland going to answer, or is that going to be a 3-0 for Poland? I'm asking the chat. Okay, so we're still missing 2 Swiss players. Let's have a look on what's happening, and Rick is predicting a 3-0 for Poland, so Poland taking the win for this third race. And let's have a look on who is supposed to race on the Swiss side. Should be Moonflower, Quebec 24, Yin Yang, and Celestial Storm on the Swiss side.
Yes, Celestial's here, so we're waiting for one more player.
We're missing for either Kwapi or Moonflower, but I think Kwapi was replaced by Moonflower.
While we are waiting, we got some comments here. Von Pigeon saying 3-0 for Poland. And Sweet Sailor saying this will be closer, but I don't see Swiss taking any points here. So we'll see.
So Poland is the favorite. Still missing still waiting for one Swiss player. We are 1 minute over.
I would have loved to join this race at the moment.
We might need to.
I missed match racing.
We're gonna delay the start another 3 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, and all 4 players are in Quebec 24. So that's a Storm, Heimat, Echoves is in, all 4 players in, so we're gonna start the race. As soon as I'm sure that all players are in control of their boat. That is the case. It is a go.
So let's see. The advantage is looks like it's on the committee side. So most of the boats in the race will try to place themselves there, but not too early. Because if you place yourself too early, then other boats will come to your leeward and try to push you and give you penalty. So they're still waiting, and I think they'll wait a bit more. And when they have less than 20 seconds, they'll try searching for a good spot to have a clean start and to push their competitors. Let's see. It's look like Polish team have placed themselves quite good. And there we go.
Are you just dealing with some back-end stuff? And looks like I'm going to be watching what's happening on the left over here. We have more boats closer to each other. So Dust Storm is at the top of the leaderboard according to the ranking on the left. And I forgot to show you the race. Apologies for that.
No worries.
Yeah, sorry for that. Seat Sailor does boost and everyone else watching.
Scoreboard is important as well. So
Yeah, but
so
I think
nothing quite significant happened too far. Just to resume to our watching, it was a clean start for Team Poland, and we had two players from Switzerland lagging behind, and it looks like Polish team have a significant advantage while they're getting close to this first mark of the race. So we only got Celestial Storm, who is close to the leading group, three Polish players, but it is not going to be easy to stall them as they're one of the best in this game. Ah, already one penalty for Krzyzewski from Celestial Storm. Yeah, it is still not over for Switzerland. So as you can see, the difference with the Polish players who launched their spinnakers and the third boat who didn't launch his spinnaker before, and they can speed up quite quickly.
we see that the Polish have taken the decision to, well, as you just said, pull out the speed. Celestial Storm might be a bit too much on the upwind to
Yeah,
use it. But it is 1-2-3 for the Polish currently, so the Swiss are going to have to attack and slow them down some way, not cover each other, not put on the wind shadow on each other, put every chances they can get.
yeah. And if you're looking at the mini map now, I think Celestial Storm is on the better side, because even though the ley line on the right-hand side is darker, you can see that it is fading away, and there's not gonna be any gust there when you arrive there. So Celestial Storm's keeping
Yeah, well,
keeping
Celestial Storm
his
going at
heading, and
9.2 knots. Formansky's going at 8.2 knots, so there is a 1 knot difference. He has 14 knots and 50 knots. So there is a wind difference. And Alberto Carraro, nice to see you in the chat, and thank you for the prime.
hello, Alberto. Nice to see you. We are waiting for your predictions. Okay, I'm taking it back again. A big gust coming from right-hand side now. If you just want to watch the boat on the ley lines, they're speeding up.
Let's have a look then. Lennier56, thank you for the follow. So we're watching HOS, and Zimos. Zimos is the co-captain of the Polish side, as HOS is trying to attack on Zimos, but the Polish teammate is here to defend him for Monsky, saving his co-captain and putting the penalty on HOS. Viva Italia Sailing. It is Oscar and Omer, both from Virtua Regatta. Omer,
Hello,
also known
Viva Italia.
as the Guler on inshore part of the Turkish team.
So Alberto's saying 6-1 for
6-1 for
Poland.
Well, according to the ranking on the left, if it stays like this, it is going to be another win for Poland, and HFS manages to put a penalty on Shiloh Finn. If you have 1 and 2, you should avoid having 7 and 8. So the Swiss have 1 Swiss in 3rd position, and 1 Polish in 7th position. So if they can focus on these 2 Polish players and push them into 7 and 8, as Krzyzak is taking a penalty, rounding the mark. They were quite far behind, actually. Quebec 24 and Krzyzak are far behind the rest of the fleet. So yeah, if the Swiss want a shot to win, at the moment, they have to put Scheidlofin in 7th position, and that's going to be tough because Scheidlofin is a good player. But they do have HOS in the mix.
It is on the shoulders of HOS at the moment. All the pressure is on him, and he has the starboard advantage at the moment, so he can control quite easily Scheidlofin, and he can just drag him till the ley line, and then but the other Swiss players will have to catch up. So if I was in his place, I would barrel veil it a little bit, get closer to HOS, sorry, Scheidlofin, and yeah, avoiding him from tacking, and now that's why he had this space and he just managed to tack, which is good, which is not good news, and because he is getting close to the finish line.
HOS is still above Scheidlofin, going slightly forward, managing to slow him down, but with the distance that they have with the Quebec 24 and Krzyzak, it's going to be very, very, very hard to put Scheidlofin.
Yes, and he's got to be more aggressive, Oscar. He's got to be more aggressive because they're just smoothly sailing at the moment, and it's not helping Team Switzerland. Yeah.
And a penalty for Scheidlofin, well played by HOS.
So here's the penalty
they
we've
do
been
have
waiting.
Celestial Storm. Quebec 24 is no, sorry, that's Heimat. Quebec 24 is still behind over there. I think even if they penalty sit on Scheidlofin,
Yeah, it was the right move, but not the right time, if you ask me. But still great defending from HOS. Congratulations.
Meanwhile, at the back, Quebec 24 and Krzyzak are still having their battle. So at the front of the fleet, we do have Szymon Formansky, HFS Scheidlofin, Celestial Storm, and Heimat crossing the finish line with an advantage to Poland. And well, doesn't really matter how these 2 players will cross the finish line. Whatever happens, Poland will have the win for this race. Which means that we will have a 3-0 for Poland after race number 3. And Matek Mietek, thank you for the follow. And well, there we have it. Confirmation of the score. 1, 2, 4, 8 for the Polish, and 3, 5, 6, 7 for the Swiss, meaning that round 3 goes to Poland. And let me show this beloved score screen. Next up, 5v5 offshore racer. Still in the end shape. Very light winds for this race, though. Very technical boat to master with the bowsprit, especially. And usually in the offshore racer races, we're going to have a very tight fleet. We shouldn't have anyone sailing off away from everyone else. Oh, Chris1707, changing your prediction to a 7-0.
I'm searching for Moritz, but he is not here.
In about 40 seconds till start, we're missing a Swiss. We have Heimat, we have Moonflower.
Yep.
There we go. All 10 players in. Still a couple of seconds to go before the start. Just want to make sure that everyone is in control of their boat. And it does look like it. And race number 4 is a go. Should I stay on the score screen, or should I maybe show the start?
We still have more than 1 minute. Maybe in about like 20, 30 seconds.
We're gonna show the start procedure. We're gonna see how the players position themselves.
Okay, I was replying you seriously. You got me.
And how they would well position themselves for the start. The start is a very important factor in team racing, well, in fleet racing as well. I think it's like 70% of the race the say is.
Yeah. So as you can see, they're like one of the top players. They're all top players, but they're not close to the start line. And if you're asking why, because they're waiting for the last moment, as we said before, to have a look over the other boats and place themselves at the best spot they can to have control on the start, because it's going to change the rest of the race.
Yep. And Kulu888, nice to see you in the chat. Kulu is one of the Swiss sailors that we're seeing tonight. Sisawe.
Okay.
And we see penalties. 2 penalties, one for Celestial Storm, one for Heimat. Sorry, just one for Heimat now. We do see one Polish a bit late with pole 35. And a penalty for Vari and a penalty for Moonflower.
Yep, another one for Heimat.
Pretty mixed up for now. Hard to say who is going to win. Well, it is too early. We're only just in the first leg, and another penalty for Very just.
And the shifts are quite big at this race.
I'm seeing a lot of penalties on the Polish players, so it looks like a more aggressive Swiss team. Maybe this round. As Che Sixer is I'm gonna call him Jesser. is
I think the Swiss team saw the new
yeah.
predictions and they're not happy with them.
But I'm not too sure what he did. I think he preferred maybe being behind. He decided to let Tim Janik sail in front of him as he was putting up the speed, meaning that Tim Janik was then able to do a mark trap on him and putting the penalty on Chesser and letting Formansky and Tim Janik take the first and second position. There's looks like we're gonna have a bunch of boats at the mark over here. The remaining five very close to each other. I'm seeing an unfortunate touch mark by Petursinovic as Heimat also takes the penalty.
I think it is the race with the most penalties so far.
Yeah, and well, we got to see maybe slightly more aggressive sailing from the Swiss to be able to put some points on the scoreboard, and that is what they're doing this race so far. And let's follow Tim Janik at the start. Watch out for the friendly fire with your teammate Formansky. Chesser avoiding. Well, that was a nice maybe move from Formansky trying to take Chesser off of Tim Janik, but Tim Janik is still under HLS.
Trying to figure out the configuration, but it's not really easy because
Yeah,
we have
I
a lot
think
of Swiss players right in the middle of the fleet.
as it stands, I'm going to give the advantage to the Swiss
Yeah,
because the Polish do have 7, 8, 9, even though they do also have 1 and 2, but they have more people at the back than people at the front.
yeah. The reach and the last upwind,
Yeah,
upwind
this is going to
are
decide a
going.
lot.
Yeah,
Formansky is the first to round the mark. Chesser is second, taking a penalty by Tim Janik's penalty 16.
it was a critical move.
The attention was there. It was the right attention. And so 1 and 2 still for the Polish, as Tim Janik is going to start this last upwind. Chesser, Celestial Storm, and HFS still behind him with that. Watch out for the friendly fire, sorry. And what's happening behind POL 35 with a penalty. And the Swiss are going to have to try to push POL 35 into 10th position just to guarantee or put more chances on their side. And it's a penalty for Heimat's given by POL 35. And well, let's see what Formansky was doing there. He did a 360 trying to stay above Chesser, maybe to try to guarantee the second place for Tim Janik, his teammate, easing his sail a bit more to put him more in the wind shadow. Though the offshore racer has a pretty good inertia. And it is going to be 1-2 for the Polish as Chester, HFS, and Celestial Storm are likely going to take the 3 places after that. And well, Paul 35 managed to stay above the 2 Swiss, Moonflower and Heimat. And I think that's going to be fairly close, but I think Poland is going to end up taking the win. We'll confirm that with the scoreboard. And here we have the final score for race number 4. It's going to be 1, 2, 6, 7, 8 for the Polish. And 3, 4, 5, 9, 10 for the Swiss.
And now, the most crowded fleet of the evening.
Most crowded fleet, indeed. It's going to be the 9v9 49er. A lot closer to team racing, this one is.
Yeah, fleet racing.
Yeah, sorry, did I say team racing?
You
Fleet
mean,
racing.
yeah.
And Sean FX 008, sorry, Sean FX 08, thank you for the follow. Yeah, 9v9 49er is going to be a very fast race. We're moving away from the N-shaped course this time, and we're going to go to the classical upwind downwind with a downwind finish. And well, it's a lot harder to strategize and like create some combos in these types of races because the fleet is just so big. You have 9 players on your team, so it's going to be hard to manage. But the general consensus is to just sail your race as fast as you can. If you see a teammate next to you in difficulties, try to help them out. Or if you see an opponent next to you that you can penalize or slow down, do that as well. But just make sure that you don't lose too much places by doing that.
Yeah,
currently with
exactly.
715 players in, we're missing 1 player. We're going to count the players on each team to see who we are missing. The race is supposed to start in about 30 seconds. I think we're missing a Swiss player. We have HFS replacing Yin Yang. And so waiting for HOS to join the fleet.
By the way, it is already, I don't know if you mentioned, sorry if I missed, but it's already a victory for Team Poland.
I did not mention it, and you're right to point it out. It is a victory for Poland because with 4 points, the Swiss can score a maximum of 3 since we only have 3 races left. What that means for the competition is just that it means well, Poland are going to get the winning points and Switzerland are going to get the losing points, but Switzerland is not out of the competition yet. We're still in the round robin stage, meaning that, well, they're still going to play against the other teams. This is just a way to seed the teams for the knockout stage, so with the quarterfinals, semifinals, bronze final, and the grand final at the end. I missed the time. It is 18 players in. No message in the chat, so it is a go for
Let's go.
Race number 5. And I'm going to switch over to show you the start procedures. So as I said, we're steering away from the end shape. It is now the upwind downwind. It is 9v9 in the 49er, so very fast boat with a lot of players inside. It's going to be very hard to strategize. We said it before, you're going to try to silly race as fast as you can, but if you see a teammate that you can help without losing too many positions, do that. And if you have an opponent close to you that you can slow down without losing too many positions, do that as well, because that's going to, in the long run, help out your team.
Yeah, and it is important to mention that we have a strong breeze, over 20 knots. So, especially with these quick boats, with 49ers, they can speed up quite fast. So, we're going to see a lot of fast and rapid maneuvers.
Yeah, and with the 49er, actually, most of the key actions are likely going to happen in the upwind. With a very small wind shadow, the downwind is going to be hard to really catch up, and it can you can lose quite a lot of speed if you luff too much on the upwind as well. So try to find the best wind, the best route in the upwind to gain as much as positions as you can. Obviously, this is still team racing, so you want to help your teammates and attack the opponents when you can. And we've seen 2 penalties, one from POL 35, one from Heimat, and one from Petr Sinovic as well. At the start, we see, well, 1 Polish leading, 3 Swiss after that, and then 4 Polish in there as well. giving a slight advantage to Poland when it comes to the start. But this is just the beginning of the race. They have this whole upwind to go, a downwind, another upwind, and finishing with a downwind again. We'll see how things change.
Yeah, I think the best strategy is on the first upwind. You just have to sail as it is a fleet race, and then you'll have a better view on the fleet and on the configuration with your teammates. And if the situation is critical and there are a lot of competitors on the leading group, you'll just have to come back and help the others.
Andres decided to attack. We do have a couple of boats went above the ley line over there. Tim Janik and Chester are such players. Switch back to the middle of the fleet. See what's happening there. It is a fairly even line. With Andres still in the lead. And let's see what happens as they get close to the first upwind mark. It is going to be Andres to, well, the first to round that mark. Watch out for the Polar Sport. Tim Janik looks like he rounded the mark the wrong way. We
Yeah.
are away from the N-shaped course, so this mark needs to be left on port. And a lot of penalties at the mark. Loads of penalties over here. Obviously, with the whole fleet bunched up together, it was expected, and suddenly we see more Polish at the back of the fleet than Swiss.
Yeah, I think you're right. They're in a better position at the moment,
And
Swiss players.
unleash the chaos now for this downwind.
I think it's already unleashed. A lot of penalties, red and white everywhere on the race course.
As we do see Attila and Kila pushing Legren away.
Because their skins are quite
And
similar as well.
yeah,
It's red and white with different motifs, so it's hard to follow what's happening.
yeah, it is hard. The Poland have a bit of white on their speed. The Polish, sorry, have a bit of white on their
Yeah.
speed, while the Swiss have a full red speed.
Someone's going away.
And they did turn off the speed. They just forgot to untoggle their best VMG. And well, in this second upwind, it's going to be 3 Swiss leading the fleet. And I think the Swiss have a good chance of winning this round.
Ah. Top 5 boats from Team Switzerland.
Yeah, we
At
have
the moment.
6 out of 9 players are Swiss in the top 9. In the top 9, sorry.
Oh, we have Korba in the fleet. I didn't see him.
We do
He's
have
also
Korba
one
on the
of
fleet.
the top players.
Yep.
I'm surprised that he didn't do any of the 2E2s.
Oh, he might
Are
be.
we
They
going
might be
to
saving
see
him
him?
for for later.
Yeah, for the end.
Let's have a quick look at the roster for Korba. That's actually the only race Korba is going to race tonight.
Hey. So they're saving the best for the last.
But again, these are the round robins, so you're not getting kicked out of the competition whatsoever if you lose this matchup.
Yeah.
This match. So sometimes they might reserve like some of the good players and put in some who have less experience to try to catch up on the experience and teach them as well, to have like a deeper pool of players that they can choose from.
Yeah. So it's
And
purely
we had
strategic.
and we had a quick change in the rankings. Simus is doing some damage at the front, penalizing Moonflower and putting some Polish players in, well, more Polish players into this top 9. Now is the moment to try to slow down the other players, well, not your teammates obviously, but the opponents. Saw some bouncing and some weaving over here around Team Yannick, Chesser, and Andres Chesser being surrounded by 2 Polish players and taking the penalty from Tim Janik. As Hate Chavez is going to be the first one to cross the finish line. And we'll see how this changes in the ranking. Can the Swiss, or did the Swiss win this race? I have that confirmation in the ranking in just a second as the last players are reaching this finish line. What's happening at the back between pole 35 and Ligern? Ligern is slightly, yeah, he's going to reach the finish line first. Flying Palomino looks like he had some trouble. And Attila Kila is going to finish 17, giving 18th place to Flying Palomino. I'm going to tally up the points, but this is the scores for race number 5. So 1, 4, 5, 2, 3, 6, 7 for Switzerland and Poland, respectively. 8, 12, 13 for Poland, then 9, 10, 11, and 14 for the Swiss. 15, 18 for the Swiss again, 16, 17 for the Polish. I do have the impression that Poland might take the win over here. We'll confirm that in just a sec. And then we're going with the 3v3 mixed J70. We're finding the J70 again. In that mixed race, back into the N-shaped course.
Which one do you prefer, Oscar? N-shaped or the all good upwind downwind?
I like the N-shape a lot for team racing because it does bring some kind of novelty to it, and I think it also makes some more interesting races with more changes in the rankings. And it is very close, but the Polish are taking the win in this last race. So it's going to be 5-0 for the Polish. 84 to 87.
Yeah. So I'm checking the predictions.
Difference of 1 penalty, basically.
Yeah, we got 5-2 for Poland from Chris, which can still be
Chris changed his vote to 7-0.
Ah, okay, correct. So yeah, and then we got from foiled 4-2 for Poland, 4-3 for Poland. Unfortunately, it will not happen. And then we have 6-1 and a 7-0.
Yeah. Well, all 6 players are in. It is time to start race number 6. And let's switch over to watch this start procedure.
Let's look closely what really Polish players are doing. How do they place themselves?
Yeah,
at the
again,
start.
quite a strong roster on the Polish side. Attila and Kila, one of the top female players, Shiloh Finn, and very top Polish players. And then on the Swiss side, Quebec 24, Sisawe, we've seen them regularly in the rankings, and we can't forget about Yuzu, who is also one of the finalists in the eSailing World Championship 2023 in Trieste. 30 seconds to go as the boat starts lining up at the start line.
And as you can see, the Polish players have the control on Swiss boats. They're on the leeward, they have the control, so they will be the players who are deciding on the pace of the start. Let's see
We
if
have
they'll
two
be able.
Polish close to the pin end and one
Yeah,
close to the committee, so they're sandwiching the Swiss.
it looks like they're a bit stuck, but let's see.
And Attila and Kila and Yuzu almost coming to a full stop, a bit too upwind. Well, yeah, too much like face to the wind. I think
Okay,
Yuzu was doing that to slow Attila and Kila down, and then decided to tack away and join her teammates with Shiloh Finn
yeah,
and penalty. Might have been
yeah.
counted as a pen start. Looking
I
at
think it
how
was a
long.
penalty from
Yeah.
Quebec on Sidelofen, and which was quite critical. Now they have the fleet
Well, that's a pretty good
under their
start. Well,
control.
yeah, pretty good shift in the rankings for the Swiss, I'm going to say.
Yeah,
They're just covering each other now. We have Yuzu and Quebec's Wind Shadow, though not that much of a difference in speed, well, 0.2 knots. But we also have Attila and Kilo over there, who is going to go slightly faster, 6.6 knots in the upwind over here. She is in the wind pressure. And well, if we snapshot the ranking right now, it's going to be a Swiss win, but that's a bit too early to confirm because we do have this long downwind, which is going to change a lot.
yeah.
Because the boats are
And
fairly
we have
close to each other.
Antila Aquila leading the fleet as well. So
Yeah, her decision to go alone on the left over there was a good one.
yeah,
A
it was
good
risky,
punch
but
and a
it
good read
paid.
from her. She's gonna be the first one to round the mark, and she's likely gonna sail off. So win in a 3v3. We said it before. If you have 1 and 2 or 1 and 3, you're winning the race. If you don't, if you have like for example 2 and 3, just do not have a 6, because you want 10 points or less to win the race.
So let's see if she's going to do a mic trap.
As the rest of the fleet is rounding the mark, Attila and Kila deciding to continue to sail, followed by two Swiss boats, Quebec 24 and Sisawe. If Quebec 24 and Sisawe manage to keep their positions and Yuzu manages to get into fifth, that is going to be good for the Swiss. But currently it is a Polish win if we snapshot the ranking. So we see Quebec 24 is going to chase on Attila Aquila, trying to slow her down as much as he can. Sisawe decided to steer on the left, and he is chased by Vary, himself also being followed by Shiloh Finn and Yuzu behind Shiloh Finn. Sorry. Shidwo. Is it Shidwo or Shidwo? I know someone told it to me and I forgot how to pronounce it.
I'm just saying Silofen. I heard it from you, and I'll stick to it.
Yeah, but I don't think that's the correct way of saying it. So what can we say right now? Not changing in the ranking. Well, no changes in the ranking. Yuzu did get closer to Shidwo Finn. Is
We have
she
a
going to
breeze
manage
coming
to
in.
steal that fifth place? You want to reach that upwind before your opponents to have better control over them. And Ludo Keys, thank you for the follow. As Attila and Kira is still in first position. Quebec 24 decided to let her go and is gonna go towards the ley line. What's the strategy here for Attila and Kila? With the current configuration, the Swiss have the win, though it is very close between Yuzu and Shadowfin. And as I said, there's going to be a switch in the ranking between the two players, Shadowfin and Yuzu. Does she try to mark trap? Does she continue sailing? Because she is going to have some sort of duel with Quebec 24.
Yeah, and at this point for this evening, they don't have anything to lose, as they are already victorious on this event. So I think they're just taking their chances and sailing away. Otherwise, she might have come back.
Well, if they win this round, the Polish are going to have a decisive win, giving them 4 points in the scoreboard, or the overall scoreboard. We show you the standings
So
at
it's
the end.
still okay. I see. So it
Um,
changes something.
So it kind of depends if they want to have this decisive win or not. There was a penalty here given from Sisawe to Veri. Yuzu is back in 6th place, and she is going to be stopped by Shadow of Finn trying to do a mark trap on her, which he does put a penalty on Yuzu. So that's going to be a hard. It's going to be hard for the Swiss to decide what to do because they do still have that 6th position. So either they can take first place from Attila and Kila, or they can push Shailofin in 6th. But with the 2 and 3, I think it's going to be hard for them to catch up on Attila and Kila. And if they attack Shadowfin too much, well, they're going to lose their the 2nd and 3rd place. And we see above Attila and Kila doing maneuvers to control Quebec 24. That might be a good strategy for Quebec 24 to keep on tacking.
I think it's all in Sesawi's hand because he's the only boat at the moment who has control over a Polish boat. And in this configuration, it's a victory for Team Poland, but we have a penalty right here for Yuzu.
Shadowfin
So
came back to attack her.
Yeah, that is not good news for
Sisawe is going to have to try to
Switzerland.
penalize Veri. They're going to have to push one of the Polish players in 6th. Because it is very tight, but the Swiss currently have 11 points instead of 10, and Attila and Kila is crossing the finish line first, followed by Sisawe and Quebec 24. Veri is going to be 4th, and I don't see how Yuzu can try to take the 5th place from Shadowfin. Making it very likely, I'm going to confirm it actually, it's going to make a 6-0 for Poland in total. And
That
here
is
we have the
unfortunate.
final ranking: 145 for Poland, 236 for Switzerland. Making it 6-0 for Poland, so that is a decisive win for Poland. Is that going to be a clean strike for them, or is Switzerland going to be able to answer in that last race 4v4 F50? Different race again, very different boat. It's going to be a very fast race again. It's going to be a different course. It's going to be reaching course. We'll talk more about it when we can see it to better explain what we mean by that. And we'll also have a look at the roster. See what was the lineup chosen by each country. I'm also going to say that there's been quite a bit of changes in what was initially planned from the Swiss. I think they were missing one of their players. And Chris1707, is the finals best of 9 to make it more interesting, Shamo female 1v1 or 2v2? So the finals are going to be, so the quarterfinals, semifinals, and all of that are going to be 9 races in total. And I believe the 2 extra races are going to be a 4v4 Ilka and maybe a 5v5 something. I'm going to have to look at the notice of race again. But it is going to be 9 races. And the 2v2 mixed star and the 3v3 mixed J70 is going to stay in the later rounds. So we have already all 8 players in. We'll talk about the roster when we see the players. About 20 seconds to go before the start procedure can be given. The reaching course is going to be slightly different than the one we've used in the previous years, so it's going to be a smaller starting area. It's going to be a narrower course. These are the main 2 differences. Which means that the players should be closer to each other, and well, it's going to be very important for them to nail that start. The start is so important in the F50, reaching that reaching mark first, and that first downwind gate. It is currently time for the race to start, all 8 players in, so the final race is a go.
Yeah, let's see where they're going to place themselves. It is quite important to check the minimap for F50 start as well, because as you're on reaching track, it will change the speed of your boat, and they'll change their angles accordingly.
Yep, so what's your prediction here? 40 seconds to go. Well, who do you think will take this round? Is it going to be the Polish again for a clean 7-0, or are the Swiss going to answer and manage to
To be
put
honest,
a
I'm
point?
rooting for Swiss players at the moment. I just want a victory for them, but I've seen Polish players on F50 before, and they really know what they're doing. So it's gonna be hard for Swiss teams, Team Switzerland. Let's see. So let's say my prediction is for Switzerland.
Okay. Well, we see the boat starting quite far away from the start line. That's to be able to reach, well, to get enough speed when they hit that start line. They want to be in full velocity before they do. Watch out for the false start, though. And we see a penalty on Timjanik and a penalty on Yuzu as well. And it looks like we have 2 Polish. The 3 Polish are going to reach the reaching mark first, putting them in a very comfortable position for the rest of the fleet. Chester
Yeah.
slowing down not to hit his teammates and not doing a friendly fire. But Legern is still in close contact with the top 3. And Yuzu taking another penalty over here at the back. Hopefully that wasn't friendly fire. That could have been from Timjanik. Timjanik himself taking a penalty from Chester. Nice response from the Swiss. It is a 4v4, so if you have first and second position, you want to avoid having the 7 and 8s. And Yuzu taking another penalty by touching the mark. That is unfortunate.
So their best chance is just sailing fast at the moment and tacking the least as possible, because you lose a lot of speed on F50 when you attack. So you'll have to decide on your strategies for the upwind during the downwind to have a good round marking and have the attack the least as possible.
Yep. Well, we saw Legern trying, well, managing to get the second place and stealing the place in the podium from the Polish. He's going to try to do his best to slow them down and give some space for his teammates. Flying Palomino is also in the equation close
Yeah.
by. But Chester and Yuzu will have to climb up the rankings a bit, because if Legern and Flying Palomino manage to get first and second, they do need to get away from that 7 and 8 position, as Flying Palomino takes a penalty from Andres.
Ah.
And Krysiak is the first to round the mark. Lagern, slowing down to try to give to slow down the Polish player behind him. Unfortunately, that means that the Polish players were able to put another penalty on flank Balumino, and putting 3 Swiss at the back of the fleet.
Yeah,
And
like
Yuzu is fairly close behind, so if the Swiss manage to penalize one of the Polish, they're going to be able they're likely going to be able to overtake them.
yeah. All the action is happening at the back of the fleet.
Yep. We see Krysiak far ahead, Lagern fairly far ahead as well. And flying Palomino taking another penalty given by the Polish players. And while Yuzu is getting very close to Andres, and she takes a penalty as well.
Yeah. And on the other side, Lagern's giving it all and trying to work those magic fingers.
Yeah, though he does have port side, he's going to have to tack under. Tim Janet coming in on starboard. He's tacking over. Who is that? Andres.
So
And
that's
it's all
the
that
thing about
tacking that,
F50.
yeah,
Yeah,
all that tacking
exactly.
put him
That's what I was going to say.
in 5th position, meaning that the Polish have 1, 2, 3, 4 currently. And this is going to be the last upwind. And then after that, we're going to go into a downwind and a reaching finish. But Lagern was in a tough spot. It's either taking the penalty from one of the Polish or tacking to avoid it. He decided to tack, but that did slow him down. That was well played by the Polish, putting him into that position. Yuzu taking a penalty by going out of bounds. And Will Krysiak is away. He's almost onto the reaching leg already. Watch out for friendly fire. Lagern taking the penalty. And trying to down on Andres. He was on port, so he did not have the right of way. And we do see Chesser managing to knock one of the Polish out of the top 4. And it is going to be a 1, 2, 3 for Poland, 4 for Swiss, 5 for Poland, and 6, 7, 8 for Switzerland. Meaning that is a 7-0 for Poland.
Yeah.
So we're going to go
which
over
means
the rankings, or the standings, or the overall standings, which means it was a decisive win for Poland. 7-0
exactly.
clean win.
Yeah, it was a clean win. Both teams are quite good, but yeah, the difference was there. Poland Team Poland was much more organized. They knew what they were doing, and yeah, they got
We did see
victories.
maybe a more aggressive Swiss side this time compared to their previous matches, which is good to see. It is team racing, so you're going to have to try to put penalties on the opponents. Not fleet racing. We're trying to finish as quickly as possible. And well, like the previous round, there's always this one decisive action or decisive mistake that put them in their difficult situation. But they were close in the races several times. And we're going to talk about the overall standings. So we're going to go over them in just a second as I finish doing the maths. So yeah, 7-0 for Poland against Switzerland.
we just gotta congratulate Team Poland. When you look at the scores, they're not even that close. I don't see matches where we can say, yeah, it was close for Team Switzerland. They could have got it, but that's not the case. But it was still a good fight.
Still a good fight indeed. Sorry if you're seeing the screen, this is just so that I can show you the overall standings after this race. But I can maybe already spoil that Poland has jumped up to second overall.
And who do we have in the first spot? Is it Italy?
It is Italy indeed, with one match less. Great, so there we have the standings. Let me show them to you. So a big congratulations to Poland indeed. Current standings, so Italy is first, Poland is second, so they're tied in points. But Italy has played one less points and have a bigger difference in terms of points. So the difference is calculated. It's just the difference of points for each match. So for a 7-0, it's +7 for the winner and -7 for the loser. France in third with 9 points, Japan in fourth with 8 points, Sweden in fifth with 6 points, Germany in sixth with 6 points as well, and Switzerland in seventh with 6 points as well. So a three-way tie for 5, 6, 7, and a two-way tie for first and second. Next match is going to be Japan versus Poland. And that is just tomorrow at 1 p.m. UTC, same on this Twitch channel. I think Japan versus Poland is going to be a very interesting match to watch.
Yeah, they are really strong teams, and we can see a lot of unique players in both teams. In Japan, especially, there are a lot of top players in their teams.
Yep, so Japan so far have played twice, have won twice, and each of their games was a 7-0, so they are a serious contender so far. For
they're
that
not
first
joking.
position. Yep. Poland have so they played 4 matches. It's going to be their 5th match tomorrow. Won half of these matches with the 7-0 against Switzerland over here. And they do have a promising team race squad. So I don't think. Well, I'm not going to predict anything. I'm not going to spoil, but I kind of want to say at the same time, I don't think it's going to be a 7-0 for Japan. I think Japan is going to have a run for their money.
Really, 7-0 against Poland.
I don't think it's that. I think Poland is going to be the first to break the Japanese and not allow them to get a 7-0 again. That being said, I think it's time for us to wrap up. Congratulations to Poland for their win. Courage to the Swiss as well. It's not over, and obviously this is still not the knockout stage, so they must be trying things out as well. And we'll catch you tomorrow at 1 p.m. UTC for Japan versus Poland. This was Oscar, your host, with Omer. Thank you all for watching, and see you all tomorrow.
See you, everyone. Have a good evening.